Hey everybody, so somebody asked me, can you give me some problem solving tips? How do you solve complex problems? I could do a whole mini course on it, but in this video I'm going to give you just a quick version. All right, let's talk problem solving skills. I learned this actually way back in the days from some German nerds. And if you know anything about Germans, nerd Germans are very nerdy. With respect. That's why they create really nice products like Audi, Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, etc. Okay, what you want to do is you want to take a complex problem and you want to break it down into smaller components. That is the basic way in which you solve or tackle complex issues. You try to break them down into simpler components, and then you can tackle each of these components individually. It makes it much easier than trying to tackle this big, giant, complex thing. In fact, this principle is expressed in object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is a style of programming where they try to look at a software system, an application, an app, a program, and they try to break it down in the form of conceptual objects. So you might have an object that handles the database interactions. You might have an object that does all the validation. You might have another object that paints or displays all the screens that you showed people, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, for problem solving in general, and it works beyond programming, in all things, try to break down your problems into their components. So let's say your problem is that you're way overweight and unhealthy. So what do you do with that? You can break that down. You can break that down between lifestyle, which is sleeping habits and exercise, and eating habits. And you can break that down as well. So you can look at eating, and you can look at the quality of the food that you eat, how often you eat, and the quantity that you eat. Break that down. Then you could break down lifestyle. You could break down under lifestyle, you might have sleeping habits, you might have exercise habits, you might have just daily habits like whether you walk every day, you walk to work, or you take a walk at lunch, or whether you take stairs instead of elevators, etc., etc. So you can take something like I'm overweight and out of shape and could have health problems down the road. You could break it down to those simple components. If you're looking at dealing with software development, again, you break it down to components. That's what Model View Controller, MVC, which is a design pattern, which in programming you have these things called design patterns. And these are just best practices. These are, in other words, these are common ways in which common software problems are solved. So Model View Controller I've done videos on it, you can check in my channel, but basically it's a way to divide the basic structure of most software into three logical components. The model, which is all the code that handles the business logic and the database access. The view, which is all the code that handles what people actually see in the web stack. That would be the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. And you have the controller, which would be all the code that brokers the interaction between what's going on in the view and what's going on in the model. Again, there's a lot to take in here. What you want to take away from this particular video anyway is at the end of the day, the number one problem-solving skill or technique, I would say, would be to break down the problem into simpler components and then deal with each of those components individually. You will speed up your problem solving quite a bit just with that. That all said, there's lots of other things we could get into, but just that is huge. And if this video gets a lot of views, I might do a mini course on YouTube on problem solving. All right, we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.